for Eat Local First BC, which is this Friday from 5 to 8. And we are highlighting private and public gardens, 6 private residential gardens and 4 nonprofit gardens, predominantly in the Shaw, LeDroit, and Bloomingdale neighborhoods. So we're downtown. Common Good City Farm is our biggest garden. I don't know if it's over an acre, but I would assume it is. It's pretty darn big. And then we have a rooftop garden. We have little front yards, bigger backyards, and some amazing people who've opened up their spaces to allow others to see what we can grow in this city. And to some of the things that you've said, you know, it's really only been about 60 years since we've screwed up our food system. Yeah. And living in DC, we can grow vegetables and herbs and things here pretty much almost all year. So there's a way to forage from your own garden a lot of those months. And so a lot of the people that we've highlighted in this tour are doing that, are really pulling some of the ingredients from there. And one of them actually has a restaurant she runs out of her home that she uses many, many of those ingredients for.
Very interesting. You know, in listening to this, I picked up something interesting. You know, we all talk about the cost of the high cost of food, the high cost of food right now. And I personally raise, well, I live out in the suburbs, and I've got a lot of land, so I raise a very large garden myself. But the thing that this is my first year. The thing that I've noticed is for the last several weeks, I have been buying very little food. When you think about it, we're all complaining about the cost of the food prices. They're killing us. However, both literally and figuratively, I might add. But when we talk about what's going on here today with Matt and Seth, they're talking about ways that you can get food for free. When we talk about raising your own garden, we're talking about changing things in your life that will change your health, but will also make you economically stronger, and then will make the city economically stronger.
And let me throw in too, I mean, there's a social, political, economic component to all of this that is really, really crucial. You know, most of our listeners claim to be progressive. Well, frankly, if you're going to be progressive, you've got to get involved in independent food supply, independent energy supply, et cetera, et cetera. To give you one example, that $2.59 or 49-cent head of lettuce, formerly used as a bowling ball, that you can buy in Safeway.
So bowling balls taste better.
That you can buy in Safeway. That head of lettuce, the laborer that picks that is paid 6 cents for each head of lettuce. All the rest of that money is the middleman process to get it into Safeway and charge you to. Safeway's not making most of the money. Also, you probably know there's only 4 major food companies in the United States that control almost all food production. If we don't begin to take back every aspect of our lives, including energy, including food, then there's really no point in talking about trying to change society.
Well, Anthony asked one question about where you could get foods to grow or gardening
supplies, yeah,
garden
something like
supplies.
That.
The garden tour that we're running is starting and ending at Old City Green, which is at 902 N Street Northwest in Shaw.
It's Old City Green.
Old City Green.
902 N Street Northwest. Okay.
And Frank Asher, who runs this marvelous corner open air nursery, has got lots of things to get started. But you know, because our climate is we have such a long growing climate here. Many of the things in my own garden, I just started it from seed early in the spring. I didn't do anything under plants this year, under lamps this year, but I have, but you can also just transplant.
I just think, I'm Suzanne.
Okay, Suzanne, so you're a partner with Louie and Louie.com?
We're partners at Louie's.
All right.
When we put this tour together, we tried to put it together so that people who want to come and have a starting point, it's for them. It's for people who are experienced gardeners who are looking for maybe a new design, someone to talk to about what, an heirloom tomato or something interesting that they're growing in their garden that they can take back with them. So it's it's meant to be fun, but it's also meant to be for everyone. And it's a great way to get ideas and to gain that confidence. And you don't have to start huge. And you'll see that in the garden tour. There are lots of big farms or big gardens, but there are also really small gardens too. And the people who started these gardens are really happy with what they're growing, even if it's only a few items. and they're on balconies. We've got rooftops. We have beehives. We have, what else? Backyard gardens, a chef's garden. We have Common Good, Marion Street, which is a garden done by children, which is probably the sweetest garden on our tour. The new rooftop garden at Raucous City, which is amazing, and it's there's a lot to see.
Our listeners that decide to join you are going to have a great time, and it's going to be interesting for a person who's from DC and wants to feel a little bit of the spirit of DC and kind of get a feeling for DC. If you may have, here's another thing: if you have some friends that are in town or some visitors, bring them and go on this tour, and people can get to see a little bit about what DC is like and DC life that you don't see. You're getting outside of the tourist areas to real DC.
And in case you didn't know it, there's more to DC than Capitol Hill.
Or Georgetown, or any other of those big neighborhoods.
And these great neighborhoods with lots of cool stuff going on.
Well, this tour is about 4 miles from start to finish. It's got a circular tour in these 3 neighborhoods.
Is it a walking tour?
Well, it's better as a bike tour.
Okay.
It's 4 miles, so the weather is supposed to get better starting tomorrow.
Right. Yep.
Friday evening, what a great fun and healthy way to spend 3 hours before you go drink some cocktails at the Forge Cocktail event. You can get it all in. You can start off healthy. You could end up drinking really good stuff elsewhere.
So now our listeners are all excited about going on this tour. Tell them, I want to go on this tour. Where do I go? What do I do? How do I find out the info I need to find out?
Well, again, the starting point is at Old City Green, a local DC nursery in the Shaw neighborhood at 902 N Street from 5 to 8 o'clock. We'll have a map there. We'll have Cabby or Capital Bike Share locations if people want to take a bike around with them. If people want to bring a bike, if people want to drive, they're pretty easy places to park, most of these locations.
And it's self-guided. It's a self-guided tour, so you can pick and choose what you want to go and see. You can take your time. You can spend as much time as one garden and move to the next, or as little time. So it's up to you.
And you guys will be wandering through the tour, so people can.
We're going to be with Frank at the Garden Center.
Oh, okay.
And we are having a potluck, and anyone is welcome to join that as well, because Frank Asher is a great guy, and when we met him and we were trying to decide where to start, I said to Bettina, okay, this is perfect, because his philosophy is a place for plants and people. And when we were thinking about this tour, we thought, okay, this makes sense. We'll start here and we'll end here. So we are having a community potluck. I'm bringing food, I don't know what, maybe, some delicious eggplant and goat cheese with little mint or something on top.
I was going to suggest some wineberry and
some olive oil or something really good. Tina's going to bring something. Frank has a CSA there, so he's going to use what he received from his CSA, Community Supported Garden, or Agriculture, sorry.
Okay.
He's going to have something that he whips up from that, and so it should be fun. So if anyone's interested in that, coming, sharing a dish, having a cocktail, we'll be there.
Well, there's a term I'll remember.
Yes.
Community supported agriculture. Almost forgot it already. Community supported agriculture. How ironic would that be? Okay.